My name is Kemal Brown. I'm the CEO and founder of the Digita Global Group of companies. We have interest in communication, real estate, venture capital, finance. I think I'm leaving one of them out, but you can go on the website, right? So the Digita Global Group of companies, today I'm actually speaking in the capacity of my CEO role at the marketing entity, right? Digita Global Marketing. Please do call us for all your marketing needs, right? Everything. Everybody in the room should get some business from you before we leave, right? I'm also a speaker, so I've been privileged and blessed to deliver about 250 talks across the world, about 25 countries at this point. As far as Russia, as my friend Eric, who I just met at the back, is from. As far as Russia, as close as the Pegasus, right? Which is where I am today. So I'm blessed to be among you today, and I'm going to be speaking on artificial intelligence, right? Giving you some general themes around it, and how it can be used, but more importantly, how it's going to augment the world, and how, as business owners or individuals as well, we can actually benefit. So my company, DGM, as I said, we do one thing, and that one thing is we solve problems through marketing and technology, right? We help you to communicate your uniqueness to the world, to connect, convert, amaze using digital technologies. Fun fact, my company has been pseudo-virtual way before the pandemic hit. I have around 30 staff in this company, in the marketing company, and we've always been virtual. We've been using digital tools since the inception of the company, right? So when COVID happened, we actually released the first guide for the Caribbean in terms of how to work digitally, but also, we just literally said, don't come to office. We were well prepared. All the tools, all the technologies. ChatGPT didn't exist at the time, but we had others that really helped us to streamline our workflow and help us to, keep continuity, which is what digital transformation is all about. So our focus today will be on 5 themes, really. A brief introduction to digital transformation, because you can't build on a foundation you don't understand. We're going to look at understanding basics of AI, the impact of AI on marketing, because I said specifically today I'm wearing the hat of the marketing company, leveraging AI for opportunities in the digital space, and of course some best practices and a few tools that can just get you started in the immediate instance. So what is digital transformation? Digital transformation simply relates to, I see it as a mindset, right? Before it becomes technology, it becomes a mindset of change, it becomes a mindset of understanding that the world is changing around us, and the digital technology that we use to augment the processes, improve our efficiencies at our respective firms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, are only, say the 5th or the 4th, if you're looking at the Industrial Revolution, iteration of the types of changes. Of course, the first was mechanical, right? Then we moved into, deeper levels of manufacturing and different things, the 4th Industrial Revolution. So we're here now, and digital transformation essentially speaks to the steps, processes, tools that we use technology to integrate to augment performance. And that performance can be both personal or professional. Clearly, in today's context, we're speaking about corporate performance. A presenter earlier spoke about vision and its importance in charting a positive digital transformation plan or digital transformation strategy. You have to know where you're going to go before you get there, right? You have to at least have some level of insight in terms of how can these technologies help my firm, or at least have a deep operational understanding of what you're doing so that you can actually put the technology on top of it. But the most important thing, as I said, it's your mind. It's being able to understand that change is the most constant thing on earth, right? As what do you call it, paradoxical as that sounds, it is the most constant thing. And when we understand that change is a constant, we understand that to remain relevant, we have to change, right? We have to be the ones driving and being the force for innovation with our firms, especially if you're the head of the firm. Because leadership is the true impetus in all change within an organization. If you don't have aligned leadership, like my friend from the Registrar General's Department, if you don't have aligned leadership, there's not much that you can do, right? And of course, the digital transformation team, you do need a team of experts, whether it be consultants, whether it be individuals within your organization that have some level of competence. You will need persons that are adept with the technology to be able to explain how it applies. And of course, it's all about the digital customer experience. You're not transforming because it's nice. You're transforming because you want business outcome. Okay, 5 priorities to get ahead. So the very first thing, you need to craft a strategy for inclusive development. Put people at the center. As much as we speak about artificial intelligence, technology, all of these things, listen, they wouldn't exist without you and I. Not me, because I can't code, right? But maybe some of you, right? They wouldn't exist. And as a result, technology exists at present to make our lives better. That is why technology exists, right? And by virtue of that, if you have a technology that does not improve human lives, you typically fail. Many of you know this. If you don't improve human lives and do it in a simple way with proper UX, UI, and all of these things, you typically fail. People typically don't use your technology, or the technology, all investment goes for moot. You need to build digital essentials. The basic is, something I speak about a lot when I'm in the middle of a meeting, maybe speaking to some international vendor or having a meeting, or even speaking virtually, whoever calls me. I spoke for the 3rd largest aeronautical company in the world. And you're speaking, and then light gone because of JPS. So you need basics. You need an infrastructure to facilitate digital transformation. You need to be able to reach everyone with digital technologies. Clearly, we know that internet penetration in Jamaica, I think the relevant data in terms of the landline access or broadband access is about 60%. There's a lot of rural areas that do not have full capabilities. And then we're looking at things like, Elon Musk solution, Starlink, which is helping to kind of bridge those gaps at an affordable. You need the basics. A lot of what we focus on a lot domestically is, digital transformation, and we need to be doing this, and AI, and we use these buzzwords, but we don't even have the fundamentals to be able to facilitate equal access for equal opportunities. So there'll always be persons in the domestic sphere left behind. And that is what you don't want, right? You don't want that. But this, once again, I know some government persons are in here, but I'm not knocking at you. We're working on it, right? Government technology for the future. So you need policy. As per our presenter, when I came in, I was speaking about the, I believe, the data protection plan. Right? So you definitely need policy. It's a, what do you call it? Not a decentralized, but a centralized reservoir for knowledge. The state has to be one of the facilitators of digital transformation and AI, just because it has to be. The state has to be the facilitator. But of course, innovation must typically always comes from the private sector, right? Because we can invest. So typically, this is what you see when people talk about AI. At least you're a professional, so you're probably using it. But most of the world, you remember this face? Terminator. Everybody knows this movie and loves this movie, right? This is the face that we typically think about when we talk about technology, or at least, AI, and people worried about the future and how they're going to take over the world. Essentially, you remember this? I'll be back. That's our worst nightmare. So everything is built out. We're all fancy with our technology, and then, the singularity point happens and trouble. And I'll say to you, realistically speaking, I saw an article the other day that a drone, military drone, killed the operator because the operator was hindering it from performing its objective in the most efficient way. Who knows this movie? Everybody seen this movie? It's called Ex Machina. It's about AI that essentially achieved the singularity point. It's essentially the point at which machine intelligence either equals or exceeds that of the human mind's ability to process. That's the singularity point, when they become smarter than us, without the need for our inputs. At present, when you're looking at machine learning and AI, you literally have to program, you have to do your algos, your algorithms, you have to actually teach the machine how to learn, but the singularity point is they no longer need that. They're processing faster than us, without our emotional problems. Your girlfriend mash up your head that day, you don't know what for code, or vice versa. They don't have that. Way more efficient, way more effective, without our flaws. Everybody knows this one, right? iRobot. That's what the singularity point was about, where the machine became smart enough to say, Uno is the problem, and I'm telling you, we are the problem on planet Earth, as humans. We burn down the place, ozone, all of this, we're just mashing up the Earth, right? So it would make sense for AI to eliminate us first. If the objective is, I'm just being real, think about it. It would really, Earth would be so much better without us. Knock on glass, right? But the reality is it would be. So it would make sense. I get the premise of the movie. We are destructive forces on the Earth. So the singularity point, by 2045, they will exceed our capacity to learn, to teach. They'll process data at rates we can't even fathom. They will just be, for lack of a better word, superhuman. And there's a quote that I saw and I loved it, because there's two types of persons that look at AI. There's the ones that are very, very enthusiastic about it and very serious, like the founder of OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, is like, look, I'm scared. He's saying this, but he's still collect that money though. Don't believe him. He's like, I'm scared, guys, but he's not turning it off. So, right? So I'm so scared of what the future holds. And you have to also remember that there's always intentionality behind every action. All right? So, Alan Perlis said, a year spent in artificial intelligence is enough to make one believe in God. Now, why is he saying this? He's saying it because when you try to replicate the human mind, it's so complex. It's so diverse. It's like, when they're trying to map it, they're like, man, but we're kind of advanced, Right, there's something here, there's something, but guess what? We just need time to get there. It's not that they can't replicate it, just that it's going to take time. And that's what machines are doing now. Once again, without empathy. Because as much as empathy is something that is tied to emotions, and even though machines might be able to get to a point where they can understand emotions, feeling requires flesh, I believe. ChatGPT is the most popular implementation or realization of artificial intelligence that we've seen, all right? But what is AI? Now, this definition is very simple in terms of a technique which enables machines to mimic human behavior. Artificial intelligence is more than that. It's seeking to not only mimic, but in its highest incarnation, allow the machine to have cognition, to be able to process in real time for not only prompts, but like we do, right? Machine learning is a subset of AI. It essentially speaks to training the machine, right? So at the highest level, the aspiration is that you get the singularity point, right? Where they can, the singularity point that is more positively tied to humanity, meaning they don't kill us all, right? It's a point where they actually try to help us in all our daily tasks. So in many futuristic movies, you'd see these types of things where, anything you need, your fridge, for example, is predicting you're going to need orange juice, and it orders it for you, and then a machine brings it, and it stocks your fridge, and that's where, like very helpful. So we become very lazy, right? Because everything's being taken care of. There are implications for that too, right? But essentially, you feed information to machine learning, and the machines learn, right? And then deep learning is essentially a sublayer of that. It's more specified towards specific things, and as you feed the machine more information, it can now start analyzing independent of humans, but in specific niches. So what is the impact of AI? When we look at the impact that we want artificial intelligence to have from a business or national take, how much money you think, or how much percentage of GDP for the economist in the room do you think that AI will contribute in about, say, by 2030? And in North America, clearly, because we're a little slower on the uptake. How much? Just give a number. 60, cool. Anybody else? 0? You now listen to the presentation, whoever says 0. So 21, this is net, so this means revenue will be more, right? Is expected to contribute 21% by, do you understand what 21% is in GDP? How much is Jamaica? How much tourism contributes to us? 4 billion, but how much is what's the percentage, if you can tell me? It's a hard question. Say, I don't know, but I know it's a lot, right? But imagine if with a few chips, a data center, right, and software that we create and sell for $49.99 or $19.99 like ChatGPT, you'd be able to contribute so much to your economy, all right? Because one of the things is, productive economies are moving away from mass, what would you call it? It's not size that counts. I don't know where I went with that one. Women would disagree, maybe. I don't know, but in terms of the manufacturing, capabilities, you built big in the past. You built big, right? But now it's really data centers. You have 2 acres of land generating billions of dollars in revenue. 2 acres of data centers generating billions of dollars in revenue, right? So, we need to kind of change. And I know we're focused a lot on, call centers, BPOs in Jamaica. There's something that Google is inventing called Google Plexus, I believe it's called. And listen, that dead enough. Instead of hiring 1,000 staff, you plug in one super chip, one piece of silicon, and you now have 30,000 AI workers that can respond better than you, right? They don't crack in English language when them speak in its perfection. Them empathetic, because they're not upset about hobby that morning. When you call some call center, you say like pissed us. It's not you, but they don't have that. They're just like, oh my God, let me take care of that for you. Ba, 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 ba. And the funny thing is, Google Plexus is deeper than just responding to call centers. It's like your personal assistant. It literally can make your calls for you, schedule your calendar. It's like a personal assistant, right? And there's so many other technologies that are being invented every single day, because I had a chart that was too big to show up here. But essentially, there's for AI companies that have gotten above $5 million in investment in the States, it's about like 1,400 companies. Some of them have gotten 60 million US in investments, right? So the world is changing, focus is shifting. right? Away from, the augmented reality, even though Apple came up with their new thing recently. It's shifting away from that for more, how can AI make our lives more beneficial, more simple? And 21% GDP. US GDP is massive. So imagine by 2030, which is only what, 7 years from now? 7 years. And that's the thing with technology, right? The propensity of growth is immense. So imagine in 7 years where Jamaica can be if we, one, equip our children from a foundational level with the right education. Because if you can't use English language well, you can't use ChatGPT. Ain't that interesting? You cannot use it well if you cannot write well. Because prompts are tied to how you phrase things. So if we can't even speak English properly and we have our students and our children failing these, where will we be economically comparative to the world? We are not ready, for lack of a better word. And us in this room are the articulate minority, right? We are the ones that understand, we are the ones that are interested in this technology, we're the ones that are seeking to move forward, come here and see the value in coming to a conference, seeking to impart these little bits and tidbits of wisdom or knowledge to you. But what about the rest of the world? Or rest of Jamaica, rather, right? So it's something that from a fundamental policy level, we need to begin equipping because realistically speaking, you don't change a country with us. We're kind of set in our ways. We have a little innovation left in us, a little bit. But if you look at Fortune 500 companies now, you look at the tech age, it's some 18, 20-year-old people mashing up the place with all these things, It's some young people. So if our young people are using ChatGPT for other, things, are not using it at all, and they don't even have the skills to be able to access it from a basic fundamental language level, what are we really setting ourselves up for? How business benefits? I remember I had a legal matter recently, and I was like, I want to write a strong email. But I said, I feel a little emotional right now. All right? I'm upset. So I'm sorry, I'm going to type it in ChatGPT. Write a formal email highlighting these particular points with a nuanced view around this and add something, and this tone must be very strong. When the email come back, Mama said, backside me a lawyer. We just copy and paste and, right? Efficiency. It would have probably taken me an hour because you're pissed off sometimes. You're like, no, let me not say that. Let me just backspace that out. Right? But it's writing without emotion. It's just doing what I tell it to do. That's why the prompts are so important. Right? So improve efficiency. And it's not only for that. Think about it like this. All of these tools, as from a content creator standpoint, which we're going to get into, right? If you're automating something, it means you no longer have to do it. If you can automate recruitment, if you can automate performance reviews based on things that you implement, you put in, this is how you want to gauge a person. If you're using a tool in your team like Slack, for example, all right? Everybody knows Slack? And you do the plugin where it's analyzing responses. You can find the person that is the most active for your end-of-year awards. There's a ton of applications. You can find the person that, is chiming in earliest. If you're giving an early person award, it would just quantify that data and punch the person's name out for you. Funny enough, we had a virtual games night at my company the other day, and it was like the coolest thing. There's this app in Slack, and we literally got in it, and they gave GIFs, and you have to write quickly who's guessing the name of this talk show or TV show or whatever, this actor. And it was so cool. They tabulated the scores. I won at the end, of course. But, I'm very competitive. I won at the end. But the point is, I was just like, whoa, I'm not use Slack properly. And I've been using this thing forever. I think I'm one of the best Slack users. How we've structured the firm, it's so efficient, right? So, but there's so much to learn. There's so much that it just keeps going. Predictive AI can predict when you must stop working on something. Everybody knows Kodak? No, you don't. Let me educate you. Because you look like you're 17. Let me educate you. So Kodak was when we used to go around and take those pictures and put it on. There's this thing called film. Film. There's something called film. Put on my Queen's English. Film. And you have to go and take it and get it developed. You know what that is? You have to use a dark room. Les Brown has this quote. He say, some people are so negative, they go in a dark room and they develop. Bump. That bad. May I speak a motivation? Book me, call me. Other than this, the price, I'm not cheap. I use ChatGPT, so the price has gone up. But anyways, the point of the matter is Kodak developed the first digital camera. Did you know that? They developed the first one, but the executives were too scared to launch it Because they said, well, if we do this, we're going to destroy our film market. We're going to destroy our film. And for the kids in there, it's film. Don't go on your CXC and write that crap. It's FILM, I think. So, they were scared to cannibalize on themselves, and as a result, I mean, Kodak was worth, I think, 2.4 billion. I have another presentation where I have it. 2.4 billion in 1970, and today they're around 38 million or $32 million they're worth as a company. They're not completely bankrupt. They're not well, they went through bankruptcy, but they're not worthless. But the point is, you lost about 100x market cap, right? Or 10x, depending on the math. But the point is, no, it's 100x? Somewhere around there. The point is, you have to adapt or die, right? And the predictive AI enables you to know what industries are on the rise and which are on the decline. Even our educational curriculum, who informs that? Or what is informing it? What are we teaching children? What are we putting as the industries of the future? I don't think it's what we're teaching them. That is actually where we need to put in terms of our curriculum. So you're literally setting up children to fail, you know, in terms of our curriculum, if you do not have a heavy focus on technology, right? Improve speed of business. If you can automate things simple like e-commerce, right? Even though that's not artificial intelligence, but it can go deeper. Over analyzing your invoices over 2 years, the thing can start writing your descriptions for you. It can start describing the projects and billing it out based on, it can go deep in terms of efficiency, right? Supply chains, how do you ensure that your supply chain is hyper efficient? If you plug in an algo or certain types of artificial intelligence that can really analyze your supply chain in real time and find the inefficiencies, you've saved millions potentially. All right? New capabilities, you can find new business models. So for example, Tesla is releasing self-driving cars. You know, so insurance companies happy. They get to raise the price. All right? They need a special plan for that. So all new technologies always bring with them new, I mean, I only run DGM because Mark Zuckerberg really invested heavily in Facebook, bought Instagram, and as a result, agencies generally are third-party beneficiaries of that innovation. Just like the App Store, a whole industry was created overnight based on our innovation. We have to look and try to predict where the next innovation is coming from, and that will give us a leg up, or at least put us on equal footing, because we're far behind now. Reduction of human error. Everybody know Grammarly? Who use Grammarly? Yeah, man. It's a big deal. Chatbots for enhanced customer service. So chatbots are just like first layer of AI. Essentially, you plug in the responses based on keywords, they pick it up, and then they respond based on the keywords that you. But what if they can literally interpret based on, then they plug it into the API and they know how much stock you have in the Mobile location and the Kingston location. And then it's analyzing your location because you have your location settings enabled on the phone. So when you ask for which Burger King line is how can I get a burger the fastest? And there's 4 in your vicinity, can tell you which line is shorter. There's a ton of things that can happen, potentially, right? Of course, business forecasting through data analysis, and of course, deep insights to make decisions. Because if you don't know where your sales, so a lot of people run companies and they don't really know what is actually generating money in the company. You just know, say, you're surviving, all right? Or you're thriving. And so you don't really need to dig deep into the data, but it is in data that you find operational efficiencies. And through exploiting them, you can buy the Lamborghini like earlier, you know, or the Birkin bag. Marketing specific benefits. I'm just going to run through this because I know my time is limited. Predictive analytics for targeted marketing campaigns. That's self-explanatory. We just spoke about chatbots and virtual assistants. You know, Gartner predicts that 75% of all enterprise-level data will be using AI, right, by 2025. Performance marketing, because AI is smarter than us in a very specific way. Let me say that, right? In a very specific way, meaning it's looking deeply for trends that humanity will miss. We will miss, right? We will miss things, but because it's looking for the trends, it can really deeply codify. Plus, because of the enterprise-level data that it's crunching, while crunching your request, you're getting much more targeted everything. And then content creation is much more effective. I mean, nowadays, and a lot of people are scared. The only difference is context, and that's where humanity still has a role to play. Contextualizing whatever the things give us, whatever the thing comes back as. But you can literally create content now. You can just tell ChatGPT, write me 15 posts tied to whatever. Give me 15 pieces of content tied to this. It will even give you the images and the type of captions. It's crazy. So it's eliminated a lot of jobs, if you will. It will, because many people, once again, don't know how to use it yet. All right? But also, that's why it's about the additional layer of value that we add in our businesses. I've never been concerned with people charging less than me. I don't compete on price. I compete on quality. I compete on service. Now, I said earlier about the skills. There's some tools, and these are just a couple tools that, are the popular ones. You can kind of check them out. Many of you might have used them. So everybody knows the first one. Everybody knows ChatGPT at this point. Grammarly, we just spoke about that one. Midjourney, this literally you type in the image that you want, and Midjourney will just create it. So graphic designers in trouble right now. Not really though, because of the context. That's the one thing, it's the context that you still have life on. But if you just want an image of for example, there's a cheetah eating a slice of pizza. There's somebody that had generated that. It literally has a cheetah eating a slice of pizza better than any designer can create it. All right? Anything. Check it out. Check it out. It's way better than a graphic designer without branding. If you're doing a corporate brand, you have to put the logo there. You have to do the consistent logo placement. So you still have, context. But if you're just doing you have a wedding photo that somebody took of you and you're just like, change this, I made the backlight, put it in water. Water is at our feet. It will do that better than a designer ever could. Right? Jasper, copy creation. So what Jasper does that's really cool is, because a search engine optimization is what websites are built on, right? What you should be building your websites on. If you're not doing SEO, what are you doing? Right? You're not going to be found. Jasper, based on your goal, will align the words that you need to use to rank higher, and it will write the copy for you. Without it, indeed. Yes. No, it's processing Google on the back end. That's the thing. They're integrating the tool so that it just makes your life easier, right? And then this script is a video editor. You can edit the video by editing the text. So it pulls in the text from the video, the transcribe, and you delete the words, it deletes that part of the video and cuts it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's cutting down. So, by the way, I'm still charging them by the hourly rate if you come to me for video production. Just so you know. I'm giving you the secret sauce, but you're still getting charged the full rate. But the point is, it's now cutting down what would take a human. And then you have to go tell him this part missing. It's cutting all of that out and giving you this thing back in 3 minutes versus 4 hours, 5 hours. So it's powerful, right? And there's a ton of tools. These are just 5 that are well used that you can look into. So I kind of spoke to these things already. So we spoke about the keywords, produce and deliver content faster, find the most successful content distribution channels, because it can literally say to you, develop my target audience for me and which network should I use based on this target audience. And then you can just decide which one you're going to use based on the information that's pushed back. Create your buyer personas. Very, very powerful for all the marketers in the room. You know how important a buyer persona is to understand the people that you're marketing to. It can do it way better. The only challenge is clearly domestically we don't have a lot of data to feed to ChatGPT and all of these distinct tools. So our contextual nuances are a bit flaky locally in terms of using these tools. So it's not so domesticated based on the data that is absent. I spoke earlier about skills and the need to have the skills and the need to look at the curriculum and the need to ensure that we are actually future focused in our educational and societal pursuits. People worry about AI taking their jobs. That's like one of the big things, right? It will, but you're going to lose the job to a human that knows AI first. So logically then, if you're a logical thinker, what is the thing to do? Go learn some AI. And you don't have to go deep. They're prompt engineers. ChatGPT, prompt engineers are making like 100,000 US to just know what to type in ChatGPT. Because as I said, remember the language skills? If you've been using Google proficiently for a while, go collect your 100 grand, man. You're good. Go apply. Go apply for those jobs. Because that's really all it is. If you know how to, and in anything in life, by the way, this is a life skill. If you ask the right questions, you typically get a better or more accurate answer. For the executives in the room or anyone that's in management, when your team members come to you and ask some things, you say, I cannot help you. Be more specific. Don't. I can't help you. I'm not clear on what you're trying to say. You're a bit ambiguous. I can't give you the right answer. So it's the same thing with ChatGPT. So if you've built, or any other AI tools that use natural language processing, if you've built these skills, you're already ahead of the game. But you don't have to worry, right? Life is about flux. Remember, life is about change. None of us in here can completely jump onto every single trend, can completely implement, but the knowledge is important so that you can at least exist within the space. You don't have to be the expert, but you at least need to know what's going on around you so that you can make business decisions that are aligned. Companies will rise and fall. This is the nature of life, right? It's just the reality. But how quickly you rise and how slowly you fall is up to you. Clearly, as I said, stay updated with the latest trend. Just do some Googling. Read up what are the top tools right now. Embrace AI platforms for marketing automation. So just check it out. See what can be done. Play around with it. You don't have to be the most proficient, but at least know what's going on. Ethical consideration. So nod to my brother about the Jamaica data protection policy. You will get sued quicker too. ChatGPT is going to find you quicker. Or whoever, whichever tool they're using. Right now, you remember when it first came out, people were writing their papers with it and all of these things, and now there have been AI tools invented to catch if you're using it to write the papers. So it's hilarious, right? Innovation exists in being a problem solver, right? And of course, continual learning. You just have to be a student of life. Life is about being a lifelong student. And once you're a lifelong student, you will not only be successful, but chances are you will be wealthy. Not just student though, you have to kind of do what you read. You have to apply the knowledge. Wisdom is knowledge applied. So you have to aim to be wise, not just knowledgeable. As was intimated previously, you need to be clear on your vision. What is the vision for your organization? Set realistic expectations. You can't just be like, AI is going to 10x my business. How? How? Right? Determine whether AI can actually enhance your business revenue. At present, if you're a construction company, AI can't really help you do the building, Can't help you build, right? But it can maybe make your bill of quantities very exact so that you save money. Bill of quantities is the amount of material you need to buy and all of these things for those that are not in that space. It can make it more precise by analyzing square footage in real time, all of that nice jazz, right? And most importantly, business leaders must understand that it's not just the technology that you say, yeah man, we're going to AI and we'll just throw it in, we'll just use a ChatGPT, and then you go on a stage and you say, my company is 100% artificial intelligence compliant. Can you just use ChatGPT and say, yeah man, you reach? No, it's really looking at all the areas of your business and saying, can they? Maybe they can't at present. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like when you work from home. You want your doctor to be performing surgery on you from home with some goggles that he can see your body and he's cutting. And I know that's where technology is going, but I'm not comfortable with that. But you know what? Eventually, machines will be doing surgeries way better than doctors will. Right? It's just a reality. They are more precise. I saw in Googling and preparing, I saw that Neuralink, Elon Musk's company, they have a machine that they invented that can stitch the implant to your brain maybe 10 times more precise than a human doctor. The thread is so thin, you cannot hold it. Just imagine that. So on behalf of Digita Global, Marketing, my company, and DGM, it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure to be with you today, and thank you for your time.